any of you frustrated by the inconsistent returns of your investment portfolio, or maybe the lack of control you have over the stock market? Some of you may also be concerned about how you might fund your retirement accounts, or maybe how you'll leave a legacy to your family, fund your kids' college education. These were all concerns that my wife and I had about a year and a half ago when we decided it was best for the family if she was a stay-at-home mom. It was something that she was passionate about. She wanted to be at home with the kids. And so all these issues came up as we were trying to figure out how can she be a stay-at-home mom and we can still meet these financial objectives. It was about at that time when a friend of mine introduced me to trust deed investing. It's also referred to as private lending. And as a private lender, we make safe and secure loans to real estate investors using real estate as collateral. And so that real estate provides a cushion for us. So let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, we have a borrower that comes to us with, for simplicity's sake, let's say the property is worth $100,000. On this property, we would lend no more than 60 to 70% of that value. That's commonly referred to as the loan to value. So again, we have this $100,000 property. We would make a loan of no more than $60,000 to $70,000 on that property. That $30,000 to $40,000, that $30,000 to $40,000 difference between the loan amount and the value of the property is what's referred to as protective equity. And that is our cushion. It's that protective equity that mitigates many of the risks of this investment. So we also work with investors then who are looking for an alternative investment strategy to help provide monthly passive income at a more consistent rate of return with relatively low risk. So the bottom line with the trustee investing is that our investments are secured by a tangible asset. As long as there's value in that property, we are well protected. Obviously, one of the questions that comes up frequently with my investors is how am I protected? And that's where we have a team of licensed professionals to help ensure everything is done appropriately and everything is done in accordance with the law. We work with a large title company that insures the loan. We also work with a third-party escrow company that manages all the paperwork. Any of the funds that our investors put into the deal are sent through this third-party escrow company. We work with licensed appraisers, real estate agents to figure out the most accurate value of the property, because as you can gather, that's a key piece of information. We need a reasonably accurate value of the property. And finally, everything is put together through a licensed broker. So they ensure that we are in compliance, and they ensure that everything is done appropriately. Like any investment, trustee investing has its risks, and it's important to understand the risks up front. Some loans will have late payments. In these cases, we actually end up returning more money to our investors because of the late fees associated with it. Some loans may go into default, and eventually we may have to foreclose on the property. It's unlikely, but that does happen. It can happen, and we're prepared for that by working with the foreclosure company that handles all that. Now, why is that unlikely? Remember that protective equity that we talked about. Here's this $100,000 property. The loan that we have out on that property, let's say, is $60,000. So you have that $40,000 difference between the loan and the value of the property. The borrower has a lot of skin in the game. They have a lot at stake. So they are incentivized not to walk away and to help make the payments. But if it happens, again, that protective equity will carry us through just fine. So again, the most important thing to remember is the value in the property. Another common question is, how does private lending compare to investing in the stock market? Private lending is fantastic for monthly cash flow. Generally speaking, the stock market isn't a good source for monthly cash flow. Private lending provides passive, predictable income at a good rate of return. I don't know about you, but I don't think the stock market is very predictable. And finally, most importantly, is the security. Our investments are backed by a secure, tangible asset with a huge cushion. And as long as there's value in that asset, we are well protected. When I first brought up with my family members and friends that I was looking into private lending and generate this passive income, they thought it was a very quixotic idea. But I can assure you, if anyone is considering other investments that will generate consistent, predictable, monthly cash flow at a great rate of return, I would encourage you to look into private lending. Thank you.